Hello, thanks for joining me tonight. Last Sunday we talked about miracles as we began our Tough Questions series. Tonight we're going to look at one of the accounts of a miracle that Jesus performed. In Mark chapter 2, starting in verse 1, it says, "A few days later, when Jesus again entered Capernaum, the people heard that he had come home. They gathered in such large numbers that there was no room left, not even outside the door, and he preached the word to them. Some men came, bringing to him a paralyzed man carried by the four of them. Since they could not get him to Jesus because of the crowd, they made an opening in the roof above Jesus by digging through it and then lowered the mat the man was lying on. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralyzed man, 'Son, your sins are forgiven.' Now some teachers of the law were sitting there thinking to themselves, 'Why does this fellow talk like that? He's blaspheming. Who can forgive sins but God alone?' Immediately Jesus knew in his spirit that this was what they were thinking in their hearts, and he said to them, 'Why are you thinking these things? Which is easier to say to this paralyzed man, "Your sins are forgiven," or to say, "Get up, take your mat, and walk"? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins.' So he said to the man, 'I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home.' He got up, took his mat, and walked out in full view of them all. This amazed everyone, and they praised God, saying, 'We have never seen anything like this.'" There's a lot happening in this passage that we could dig into and focus on. Tonight, though, I want to focus on the role that the paralyzed man's friends played. As we read, they are one of the focus points in the story, and we see them and their faith. It's interesting that this man is simply carried along until he is in front of Jesus. We have no record that he even said a word. But they were the ones who did all the work. They carried their friend to Jesus. They climbed up on the roof of the house with their friend when the crowd blocked their way. They ripped open the roof and lowered him down in front of Jesus. Have you ever felt like you can't get to Jesus? Maybe you've been paralyzed by fear or worry, or maybe it was a failure in your life or something else that just made it so it seemed like you couldn't move and get to Jesus. It's times like these where we need friends like this man had. We need friends who will act with faith and in love towards us. When we are paralyzed by something that has us thinking, "I can't go to Jesus," that is when we need friends who will not only carry us there, but who are willing to rip roofs off to get us to him. But along with needing these friends in our own lives, we need to be this kind of friend to others. We need to be someone who can act with faith when our friend cannot. We need to be the people who can pray, who can encourage, who care, who show up when we're needed. Can you be a friend who keeps trying to bring your friend who doesn't know Jesus to him to find forgiveness and salvation, who can keep praying, keep sharing, keep loving, keep encouraging, keep inviting to them? And then I just want you to take a minute. Imagine what it was like to be one of those four friends that day. Imagine the joy they had when they were able to walk home with their friend. Imagine what it was like in the future as they were going through life together. And, can you be that kind of friend who keeps bringing your friends to be able to see God work in that way? God brought physical and spiritual healing to their friend. Imagine what that was like going into the future. Who needs you to help them come to Jesus today? What will it be like to see Jesus work in your friend's life? Let's be the kind of friends who won't let anything keep our friends from Jesus. Hope that encourages you tonight, and we will see you on Sunday.